Hello everyone, my name is Bobby Howe, amateur radio call sign W9GRH. Welcome to my video. In this video, what I'd like to do is combine two old ideas into one new idea. As far as I know, these two ideas have not been combined before. So what are these two ideas? One of them, of course, is amateur radio, and the other one is, wait for it, the common ordinary 5-gallon bucket. Now don't tune away, this is going to be worth your watching. Okay, so mounted inside this 5-gallon bucket is a Yaesu FT891 transceiver and an LDG Z-100A antenna tuner. And some of you might think, Bob, that is really one of the most innovative things I've ever seen. Others of you might say, Bob, that is the goofiest looking thing I've ever seen. But bear with me and let me explain a couple things. I'm going to have a lot of close-up shots as we move in. I'm going to explain a lot of the features of this thing as we go. Part of the thought process behind this is to have something that's portable and pretty resilient to shock and moisture proof. So for those of you that like, field day, camping, maybe parks on the air, things like that, this is something that you can take out in the field and it's ready to go, all except for a battery and an antenna. Okay, so you might be able to tell that I'm on the 40-meter band and the CW portion of the band. And for those of you who are CW enthusiasts, if you're a sideband enthusiast, there's also a microphone. You can tune to the sideband portion of any of these bands and operate there. I like to operate in both modes. So let me point out a few features of this that I've added and I like, and I hope that you will like them too. So let me point out that over here on this side of the assembly, there is a 1/8 inch mini connector, 3-conductor, otherwise known as a stereo type connector. This is used for the CW key. You can connect a key to this port, plug it in, unplug it quite easily. On the other side over here is the power connector where I run a cable to it and connect it to an external battery. This is an Anderson power pole connector. It connects and disconnects quite easily and quite nicely. So let me point out a couple things about this assembly. Here, one of them is this antenna connection here. Let me disconnect it first of all, because I want to show you how this works. If you look at a close-up of this, you will see that as you look at it now, this antenna connector sticks up above the rim of the bucket where you would put a lid on ordinarily. And you might think, well, how is that going to work? Well, that's because this part of the assembly right here just folds in, just like that. If I want to turn the radio off, unplug the battery connection. Let's say you're out operating somewhere remotely, outdoors, field day or what have you, and it starts raining. Okay, so here's the lid for this. It just pops on quite nicely, quite easily. Okay, so now everything is connected back, the antenna and the battery. And let me point out the microphone down here for sideband operation. I can pull this out. As you can see, there's a microphone holder right here that holds this in place for transport, or you can put it there as you're operating if you want to take a break or you don't want to use the microphone. Now we're going to move in for a lot of close-up shots, and I'm going to show you how this was put together. Be sure to stay tuned because a little later in the video I'm going to show this thing in operation and how I used it. I used it with a quarter-wave vertical antenna on, I believe it was 10, 15, and 20 meters. And I think you'll be pleased to see that, to see it in action and how it works. So here's some still shots to show this project as it was under construction. First we start out with the bucket itself and the bottom of the PVC framework. Here's a picture of the framework built with the Yaesu FT891 bracket mounted. Here's another shot of that. Here's a shot of the antenna connector in the up or extended position and in the retracted position. Another shot of the PVC framework before equipment is mounted on it. It also shows the antenna connector in the retracted and the extended positions. Here's a shot of the Yaesu FT891 and the LDG Z-100A tuner, both mounted to the PVC framework. Here's a photo of the rear of the two pieces of equipment with all the jumpers installed and the necessary cabling to connect it to the outside world. Here's another shot of that. Here's a photo of the finished product, and you can see that I've got a spiral notebook in there. That's my logbook, and some other paperwork that might be handy out in the middle of the field somewhere. And to the left, you can see the battery, the Anderson power pole connector. To the right, you see the CW key connector. You can also see the battery pack connector cable there. Here's a photo of the battery cable connector by itself, coiled up, ready for transport. Here's the microphone in its holder, and here is it removed, showing the microphone holder. It's a close-up of the CW key connector, and a close-up showing it connected. Here's the Anderson power pole connections and the battery cable installed. Now we go through a sequence of photos that show the antenna connector from the retracted position to the extended position. And that's a quick tour of the project through still photos. So as with most other things in life, there are advantages and disadvantages to almost anything. And the key is to have the advantages significantly outweigh the disadvantages. That's why you continue to have a certain thing or be involved in a certain activity or what have you. All right, and this one has those as well. So I'm going to talk about the advantages first. So let's start with the advantages. One of the advantages of this assembly, of having it the way I do, is that all the cabling is in place except for the battery and the antenna. The jumper between the tuner and the radio is already in place. There's some other cabling down there that has to be in place for all of this to work. And it's already done. You don't have to do anything except for take this to your operating site, plug in the battery, plug in the antenna, tune the antenna if you need to with the tuner, you're on the air. It's already been mentioned, but this assembly is I'm not going to go as far as to say waterproof, but it's water resilient. You're going to have to intentionally abuse it to get any water inside this thing. You put the lid on and it's going to be impervious to rain and things like that. And some might say, well, wait a minute, the speaker on the radio is inside here, how can you possibly hear that? Well, believe it or not, this thing acts as a bit of like a megaphone. Remember back in the old days, people used megaphones for different things. And this thing is conical in shape, and so the sound kind of projects out, and it works quite nicely, quite well. Even if you don't want to operate with a speaker, you want to operate with headphones, it's quite easy to plug a set of headphones in on the side of this radio here, even with it mounted inside the bucket. There are a few extra things that you can store inside the bucket. For example, the cable, this cable right here between the radio and all of the electronics in here and the battery. I simply coil that up and there's a place inside I can put it. I can also keep a logbook in there. I also have a manual. It's the abbreviated version of the manual, but for field use, that I can store in here and transport it in there as well. Another thing is, if you have this all disconnected, the antenna's disconnected, the power and all that, you've got this assembly, the antenna assembly folded in, you've got the lid on it, you put it in your car, it's going to have a bit of a clandestine type appearance. If you have a bunch of amateur radio gear in your car and it's really kind of obvious that that's what it is, you might be inviting someone who wants it worse than you do to break into your car and take it. But I'm having a hard time imagining people are going to look at a 5-gallon bucket and say, boy, must be something in there, I'm going to steal that 5-gallon bucket. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I would say far less likely so. Okay, one of the other advantages is that PVC pipe and PVC fittings are relatively cheap. So it was relatively cheap to make this assembly to mount all this stuff into, or onto, inside the bucket. And by the way, I did not use any PVC cement to put all of this together. They're simply all pressed together. And that's one of the things that allows me to fold in this antenna assembly when I'm not using it for transport. And you might think, well, what keeps this thing from rolling around so much? Well, I have, as you can see here, I have, this is just a surplus case that I just happen to have. You can set it under here and it doesn't really roll around and cause you any difficulty there. There are ways to make this quite stable. It can sit on a tabletop and it won't roll away from you. One other thing about this, one other advantage is that if you have the need, you can operate this thing with the bucket sitting upright and the bottom flat on the floor. If you have a need for that, you're able to do that. So there are a couple of things that fall into the negative column. I don't know if I want to go as far as to say disadvantages, but a couple of things to keep in mind. This thing is probably not your best bet as far as backpacking or anything like that. For a couple of reasons. It's kind of big. That's the first thing. Second thing is it's kind of heavy. This entire assembly weighs about 14 pounds. So that's not going to be convenient for backpacking unless you have some way to transport it using some sort of a cart or something, perhaps. I don't know. So I don't think backpacking is going to work out too well for something like this. So those are the advantages and disadvantages that I've just covered. And now we're going to move in for a lot of close-up shots of the different features that I pointed out. Also what this assembly looks like when it's taken all the way out of the bucket. You can see the back side of it and so forth. And stay tuned because we're going to have some operating out in the field with this, and I think you'll be pleased to see that. All right, so now I'm up at the high end of the band. Let me show you how the tuner works really quick. I've already tuned it to the low end of the band, and it may not take very long at all to tune. Let's see what happens. There we are, the SWR is about 1.4 to 1. Back to the low end of the band where I was before. It will probably, this tuner remembers previous tune-ups, and it probably won't take very long at all. Let's see what happens. So here we are back at the low end of the band. Let's see if we tune it up, if it remembers, or if it has to go through the whole tuning process again. Okay, it had to go through it again, but it didn't take nearly as long, and the SWR was about 1.3 to 1. So I'm real happy with the way the tuner works.
Delta Kilo 3 Echo Echo Delta Kilo 3 Echo Echo QRZ.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable.
Golf Radio Hotel, you 5 and 9?
You are 5 and 9 into Central Illinois. Over.
Central the night report from Illinois 73 Delta Kilo 3 Echo Echo. Papa Yankee 2 Zulu Zulu CPDS.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable.
Whiskey 9 Golf Radio Hotel, Roger.
QSL QSL. You are 5-9 into Illinois. Over.
Roger, Illinois, George. Thank you, George, for Illinois. 5-8 into São Paulo, Brazil, Roger.
Roger, QSL and 7-3.
73, George. Good year. Bye-bye.
7-3, bye.
C2 Tamir, Echo Bravo 1 Delta Japan.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable.
Delta 9 Golf Radio Hotel, Portable 5-9.
You're 5-9.
E7-1A, Echo 7-1 Alpha.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel, Portable 5-9.
You are 5-9 Central Illinois. QSL.
Thank you, Echo 7-1 Alpha. J3 Zulu, X-Ray Zulu.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable.
Yeah, who's the portable?
This is Whiskey number 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable Station. Over.
Yeah, Whiskey 9 Golf Radio Hotel. Golf 3 Zulu, X-ray Zulu. Thanks for calling me. A good signal. You're 5 and 9. You're 5 and 9 in northern England, and you're portable. So I wonder what you're doing, where you are, etc. Whiskey 9 Golf Radio Hotel. Golf 3 Zulu, X-ray Zulu. Go ahead.
Yes, I am located in Illinois. I can give you the county if you want it. I'm running 100 watts on a quarter wave vertical. Over.
Yeah, 100 watts and a vertical. I missed your name. What was your name? Go ahead.
Sorry about that. Name is Bob. Bravo, Oscar, Bravo. Over.
Yeah, okay, Bob. 100 watts and the vertical. Doing great. So, thanks for the contact, Bob. There were some others calling, but I managed to pick you out with the portable and a nice signal. 73 Whiskey 9 Golf Radio Hotel Portable. G3 Zulu X-ray Zulu.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you, and 73.
73, thank you. Alpha Mike 775, Charlie Papa Tango.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel.
Whiskey 9 Go Radio Hotel, Roger.
QSL, I'm Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable Station. Over.
Portable station, QSL. Whiskey 9 Go Radio Hotel, Stop Portable. Alpha Mike 775, Charlie Papa Tango, special call. PTA 5A, Malin Spain, how many to run your seat, is up?
Yes, you are also 58. Over.
Oh yeah, no problem. Whiskey 9 Go Radio Hotel, Stop Portable. Alpha Mike 775, Charlie Papa Tango. My information is QSL.com. Thank you for contact. 73, good luck.
Thank you, and 73.
Alpha Mike 775, Charlie Papa Tango, special call. This is Alpha India 5 Foxtrot Kilo, yours in.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel Portable.
Whiskey 9 Golf Romeo Hotel, you're a 5'9" here in Alabama.
Yes, sir. You are also a 5'9" here into Central Illinois. Over.
Thanks, Illinois, 73.
73.
All right, so I hope you liked my video. Please subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up button. Let me know what you think about this in the comments. I try to answer any and all comments when I see them. I try to respond, try to answer. And so I want to thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next one.